Picture yourself as a powerful river, having conquered countless rapids to become the radiant version you are today. Yet someone keeps throwing stones, trying to drag you back to the stagnant waters of your past. Why do some people only remember your mistakes, failures, and worst moments, ignoring how you've grown, healed, or triumphed over challenges? They don't see your transformation. They see the old you, as if you're forever chained to bygone days. This is a wound they reopen, not to heal, but to keep you trapped. Stoic philosophy through Epictetus reminds us you don't control what others say, but you control how you respond. The dichotomy of control teaches that you can't change how they view you, but you can choose how to define yourself. Amor fati, loving your fate, invites you to embrace your past as part of your journey, not a prison for your present. I was once haunted by a friend, recalling my youthful mistakes, making me doubt my progress. But I learned, defending the old self breeds pain, while advancing with the new self is freedom. You stand at a crossroads, shrink into the shadows of your past, or stride confidently with the light you've created. Those pulling you back don't want you to shine. Your growth challenges their stagnation. Today, you can learn to rise above. Stay with me to uncover the truth behind their actions and how to use Stoic discipline to move forward. Row through the countercurrent of judgment. Choose your new self and live with reason to become unrecognizable. Act now. 1. They haven't healed themselves. Picture yourself as a powerful river, having conquered rapids to become a radiant version of yourself. Yet someone throws stones, trying to drag you back to stagnant waters. Why don't they see your growth, only recalling old mistakes? Because they haven't healed themselves. Seneca, in On Tranquility of Mind, wrote, "Those who cling to pain cannot move forward. People who dwell on your past are trapped in their own suffering, unwilling to let you advance because it forces them to face their unhealed wounds. Your progress, your strength, your healing mirrors their stagnation. Instead of fixing themselves, they anchor you to an old image for their own comfort. I knew someone, call him John, who escaped a cycle of self-destruction after years of struggle. He embraced discipline, built a career, and found peace. But whenever he met an old friend, they'd smirk. "Remember when you were a mess? Who'd think you'd turn out like this?" That smile wasn't praise. It was an attempt to pull John back to the person he'd outgrown. John realized they didn't want to connect with him today. They wanted him frozen in the past because his change confronted their lack of it. Stoic philosophy, through the dichotomy of control, teaches that you can't control their words, but can control your response. Don't argue to prove your change. Your life speaks for itself. Premeditatio malorum advises anticipating hurtful comments to stay grounded. Protect your inner peace by refusing to carry their baggage. Move forward with your growth like an unstoppable river, despite the stones in your path. Today, when someone brings up your past, smile, stay silent, and keep rowing. They're stuck, but you aren't. Row through the countercurrent of judgment. Commit to not arguing. Journal tonight about a moment you overcame your past and walk with pride in who you've become. Are you ready to guard your peace, live with Stoic discipline, and let your river surge? Act now. 2. They use your past to control you. Imagine you're a mighty river, surging toward your greatest self, but someone throws stones, trying to drag you back to stagnant waters. Why do they keep recalling your old mistakes as if you haven't changed, because they want to control you. Epictetus in Enchiridion teaches, don't entrust your peace to others' judgments. Those who dredge up your past aren't celebrating your growth. They wield it as a weapon to make you feel small, doubt yourself, and remain malleable. By invoking your worst moments, they instill guilt, keeping you in a state of needing to prove your change. This isn't care, it's emotional leverage to manipulate your actions and mind. I knew someone, call her Linda, who overcame a tough phase of poor choices. She rebuilt her life, becoming confident and disciplined. But an old acquaintance often said, don't get cocky. We all know what you were like back then. Those words weren't casual. They aimed to shrink Linda, making her feel unworthy of success. Linda realized this person didn't want her to advance. They wanted her forever indebted to her past. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches you can't control their words, but can control your response. Don't argue to prove your transformation. Your life is proof enough. Amor fati urges you to embrace your past as a lesson, not a definition of your present. Recognize manipulation. When someone uses your past to shame you, they're seeking control. Safeguard your peace by refusing to need their validation. Instead of reacting, smile and move on. Like a river flowing past obstacles without pause. Today, when someone brings up your past, pause, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, my peace is mine. Journal tonight about a time you overcame manipulation, and commit to not letting anyone pull you back to stagnant waters. Row through the countercurrent of judgment. Uphold stoic discipline, and let your growth speak. Are you ready to protect your peace and live as your strongest self? Act now. 3. They fear your growth. Imagine you're a powerful river, conquering rapids to become a radiant version of yourself. Yet someone throws stones, trying to drag you back to stagnant waters. Why do they dwell on your old mistakes, ignoring your growth? Because they fear the strength you radiate. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, those who seek your past fear your present power. Your progress, your confidence, discipline, and new light mirrors their stagnation. Instead of facing themselves, they cling to your old image for their own comfort. Your growth challenges their ease. When you shine, they confront the steps they haven't dared take. I knew someone, call him James, who broke free from a reckless lifestyle to build a career and live with discipline. But when meeting old friends, they scoffed. You were just a party guy. Now, acting serious? Those words weren't jest. They aimed to pull James back to the person he'd outgrown. James realized they didn't want him to advance. His change made them feel left behind. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches you can't control their fears, but can control your journey. Don't dim yourself to comfort others. You don't live to prop up their stagnation. Premeditatio malorum advises anticipating judgmental remarks to stay grounded. You don't need to convince them of your change. Your life proves it. Keep moving forward, like a river bypassing obstacles, letting those who don't align fall behind. Science shows, though personal growth drives neuroplasticity, shaping your new self through repeated actions. Today, when someone brings up your past, breathe deeply. Remind yourself, I don't live for their fears. Journal tonight about a progress milestone you're proud of, and commit to not stopping. Row through the countercurrent of judgment. Uphold stoic discipline, and let your growth shine. Are you ready to forge ahead, leaving behind those who fear your light. Act now. 4. They don't accept the new you. Imagine you're a powerful river, overcoming obstacles to become a radiant version of yourself, yet someone tries to pull you back to stagnant waters. Why don't they see the new you, treating you as if you haven't changed? Because accepting the new you requires them to shift their perspective, and they're not ready. Epictetus in Enchiridion teaches, you're not bound by your old self. Grow with reason and let the past turn to dust. They lock you in an old image because it's easier to manage, sparing them the discomfort of adjusting their view of you. Your growth, your confidence, strength, or clarity disrupts the role you once played in their lives. Instead of embracing it, they cling to the familiar version for their own comfort. I knew someone, call her Anna, who overcame self-doubt to become an inspiring leader. She honed discipline, mastered persuasive speech, and lived with purpose. But old friends still teased, you were so shy back then. Now pretending to be confident? Those words weren't harmless. They aimed to keep Anna in her timid image. Anna realized they weren't rejecting her, but resisting change within themselves, as accepting the new her meant they too had to grow. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches you can't control how they see you, but can control how you live. Don't beg anyone's permission to grow. You don't need approval to shine. Amor fati urges you to accept your past as part of your journey, not a cage for your present. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. You live for your purpose, not their ease. Move forward confidently, like a river surging past boulders, letting your new self radiate. Science shows repeated behaviors shape identity through neuroplasticity. Today, when someone treats you like your old self, breathe deeply, remind yourself, I am the new me. Journal tonight about a quality you're proud of in your new self and commit to living it fully. Row through the countercurrent of rejection. Uphold stoic discipline and let your light blaze. Are you ready to stride confidently, regardless of who refuses to accept you? Act now. 5. They don't respect your journey. Imagine you're a powerful river, having conquered countless rapids to become a radiant version of yourself, yet someone tries to drag you back to stagnant waters. Why do they focus on past mistakes, ignoring your journey of growth? Because they don't respect the path you've traveled. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, judged a person not by their past, but by their direction. These people refuse to acknowledge your progress. They cling to an outdated version to keep you in a tidy, controllable box, rather than honoring your efforts. Your growth, your discipline, healing, and new purpose requires them to see you anew. But they resist. They reduce you to closed chapters, not because you haven't changed, but because they don't value your journey. I knew someone, call him David, who overcame a chaotic phase to live with discipline and build a career. But old acquaintances would say, you've changed a lot, but who can forget when you were a troublemaker? Those words weren't about connection. They aimed to trap David in an obsolete image. David realized they didn't care about the road he'd traveled. They just wanted him to remain the person of the past. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches you can't control their respect, but can control your forward motion. Don't plead for them to see your change. Your journey doesn't need their validation. Self-reflection, as Marcus Aurelius practiced through journaling, urges you to focus on your direction. Set boundaries. Limit contact. with those who don't honor your efforts. Stride proudly, like a river flowing past boulders. Science shows pride in progress boosts motivation via dopamine. Today, when someone brings up your past, breathe deeply. Remind yourself, my journey is mine. Journal tonight about a milestone you're proud of and set a boundary with someone disrespectful. Reduce contact or refuse to argue. Row through the countercurrent of judgment. Uphold stoic discipline and let your path shine. Are you ready to move forward proudly, regardless of who fails to respect you? Act now. 6. They want to keep you trapped. Imagine you're a powerful current surging toward your greatest self, but someone throws stones, trying to pull you back to the stagnant waters of the past. Why do they keep bringing up old mistakes as if you haven't moved forward? Because they want to keep you trapped in guilt. Epictetus, in the Enchiridion, teaches guilt should not be a chain forged by manipulation. Those who dig up your past don't want you to shine or go far. They dredge up your worst moments to make you doubt, shrink, and hesitate to step forward. By evoking guilt, they create invisible chains, making you feel unworthy of success or happiness. This isn't care. It's a tactic to dim your light. I once knew someone, let's call her Jessica, who overcame a self-destructive phase to build a disciplined, meaningful life. But an old acquaintance would say, "You think you're so great now. Everyone remembers when you were a mess." Those words aimed to make Jessica feel guilty, as if she had no right to be proud. Jessica realized they didn't want her to advance. They wanted her stuck in the past so they could feel superior. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches that you can't control their intentions, but you can control your response. Don't let outdated guilt bind you. You've paid the price and grown. Amor fati urges you to accept the past as a lesson, not let it define your present. Recognize manipulation. When someone uses your past to shame you, they're trying to hold you back. Break the chains by affirming, I am no longer that person. Move forward boldly, like a current surpassing obstacles. Science shows releasing guilt activates the prefrontal cortex, boosting decision-making. Today, when someone brings up your past, take a deep breath. Remind yourself, I've moved on. Journal tonight about a time you let go of guilt and commit to not letting anyone dim your light. Paddle through the reverse current of manipulation. Stay disciplined in stoic practice and let your new self shine. Are you ready to move forward boldly, despite the chains of the past? Act now. 7. They're testing your emotional weaknesses. Imagine you're a powerful current surging toward your greatest self, but someone throws stones, trying to stir the calm waters to find your vulnerabilities. Why do they bring up the past, as if wanting you to flinch at old mistakes? Because they're testing your emotional weaknesses. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, teaches, the one who cannot be provoked holds the greatest power. These people aren't carelessly digging up your past. They provoke to see if you'll still react, shrink, or carry guilt, aiming to control you through your emotions. Their words, even disguised as jest, are arrows aimed at where you're healing. If you react, arguing, explaining, you give them leverage to manipulate. I once knew someone, let's call her Mary, who overcame insecurities to live confidently and disciplined. But an old colleague would say, "You're so strong now, huh? Remember when you used to panic?" Those words weren't praise. They were a test to see if Mary was still easily shaken. Mary realized They didn't want her steady. They wanted to find cracks to make her doubt herself. Stoicism, through the dichotomy of control, teaches that you can't control their provocations, but you can control your response. Don't fall into the trap of arguing. Silence is power. Premeditatio malorum says, advises anticipating these arrows to maintain emotional calm. Protect your peace as sacred. When someone tries to provoke, choose stillness, like a current unmoved by the wind. Science shows emotional self-control activates the prefrontal cortex, enhancing self-mastery. Today, when someone brings up the past to provoke, take a deep breath. Remind yourself, my peace is untouchable. Journal tonight about a time you stayed calm amid provocation, and commit to not letting anyone disturb your current. Paddle through the reverse current of provocation. Stay disciplined in Stoic practice, and let your stillness become your strength. Are you ready to protect your peace, standing firm like an unwavering current? Act now. You've paddled through the turbulent current of 7 reasons, uncovering why others try to pull you back to the stagnant waters of the past. This journey proves you're not bound by old mistakes. You are a powerful current, shaped by growth, discipline, and inner peace. I once let reminders of my past make me doubt, but learning to stay silent and move forward reclaimed my strength. Now, it's your turn to apply the lesson. Don't let the past hold you back. Live as your best self and protect your peace like a sacred flame. Marcus Aurelius teaches you have power over your mind, not outside events. The dichotomy of control reminds you can't control others' judgments, but you can control your response. Strength lies in stillness, not arguing, not shrinking, but advancing with reason. Memento Mori urges, live today. Don't waste time on old chains. Today, commit to one action. When someone brings up your past, take a deep breath, journal about a step forward, and set boundaries with manipulators. Science shows emotional self-mastery reshapes the brain, reinforcing your new identity. Thank you for joining me on this Stoic journey. Your presence fuels me to share more. Help spread the message. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment "Thank you" to show support. Together, we'll keep learning, forging reason, and living with purpose. Paddle through the reverse current of judgment. Keep your peace unshaken, and let your current shine. Are you ready to live grown? Protect your inner strength, and move forward forever. Act now.